Hello, this is Holly with Holly's Joys, and I am here to tell a story for someone I have met who this unusual circumstance happened to, and she asked me to tell her story for her. So it is an adult bullying story, and it's learning to speak out when it happens. Or even just bringing awareness that adult bullying still does happen. So she wants to overcome her apology reflex. You know, we talked about that in another video, that I struggle with the apology reflex, which is better, but you know what? We can all grow and get better each and every day, and we can expect ourselves to have great days every day. So here's just kind of an overlook of what happened. First off, nobody is looking for more drama here. So don't jump on the bandwagon and try to cause more drama in the situation. We're just not going to do that. So, and nobody wants a solicited apology. Don't you hate that when you have to ask somebody to apologize? I mean, it's like a couple of little kids. Now go tell your sister you're sorry. That really, it rings hollow. So that's not what this is about either. It's just raising awareness that adult bullying does happen and that we do have reflexes to them. Sometimes it's shrinking away, and this one we're just talking about that overcoming the apology reflex. So there's no longer a desire to agree by being silent. So usually, personally, I've been bullied as an adult, and my go-to reflex, and I think probably most of us, and this woman who I'm talking about had the same kind of reaction to it at first, and that's just to shrink in silence and just kind of hope it goes away. You know, fingers crossed, it goes away. Well, a lot of times it may go away outwardly, and then it percolates on the inside and causes distress on the inside, which is what I found in my personal experience. So I'm learning by telling other people's stories, to speak out. And I would like to speak out when it happens in a calm and rational manner. Those are always important. Okay, so this story happened to an older woman, and if it still happens to her, I know it's happening to more than just her. And it has, bullying's happened to me too. So we know that it's going on. So that is part of why we're talking about it today. Whoops. I've got a little screen over here so I don't miss anything. She was aggressively pressured by a group of women in discussing a comment that she has made in the past. It almost reflects some of what's going on in our political arena. They want to rehash things that happened 30 years ago, right? Well, and some things that happened 30 years ago may be important. I don't know. I'm just saying, can we talk about things that are relevant today instead of making us stand accountable for things we said when we were much younger and less wise as we are now? So this happened many years ago, that she had made this comment or discussion or whatever it was that she had said that has now made its way back into the current discussion. And one of the women who was in this group of friends was kind of the aggressor and played a big role in turning everyone else against this woman who had said something in really in innocence. And she did apologize and said she thought she was just being funny. And, sometimes we do say things that are not appropriate in humor. But if we're friends, we're friends and family, we should be able to get a little silly and maybe even a little out of line once in a while. And it wasn't anything that was super harmful. So anyway, it was a trigger point for somebody in the group, and they really rallied everybody around but to be mad at this woman. So the apology fell on deaf ears, to say the least. And then she retreated into her shell and really chewed on this. And I think we can all relate to those moments where we're just reliving and ugh, I wish I'd have said, or I probably shouldn't have, or I'm so terrible. And at least that's how I talk to myself when those things happen. I am better, because I don't think that's ever productive when you do that. So don't call yourself names. So the interesting thing about this story is more than a year later, they hadn't talked. This group had not talked since then. And more than a year later, one of the women in the group reached out to her. And she's like, hey, how about let's get together for dinner? And, at first, I think she was like, oh, well, they're going to apologize. And I think the consensus was, no, they're not going to apologize. But, you can always hope. And as somebody once told me, apologies come from self-reflection. And people who do this kind of thing probably aren't the most self-reflective types. So that's probably true. I don't know. Anyway, so at that time, she found out that she had been blocked on social media this whole time. Well, she had no idea, because she wasn't any longer trying to reach out to them. But she found out when she was trying to communicate back about this get together that they reached out to her, that she'd been blocked on social media this whole time, which was another weird adult, weird bullying. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just doesn't make a lot of sense. But it was upsetting to her, and she was like, what is going on? Am I really this terrible? So I can't talk to people, but y'all can. It was just very conflicting. So know that this woman is not perfect. None of us are. And she learned from this situation. I don't really know what you can learn from this situation. But know that when somebody says something years earlier, they are no longer that person anyway. I mean, how do you stand and account for something you said when you were 20? I'm well over 20. So how do I stand and account even for something I said when I was 40? I'm well over 40. And that really goes on. Even how do I stand and account for something I said a year ago? I'm not that person anymore. I have grown. So I have told you this story in hopes that you reflect on your own behavior and maybe how friendships, I don't know, what kind of standards we have in our friendships. So friendships should be based on mutual respect, a desire to be together, a genuine connection or a desire for one to know somebody or to be in their company, even if it's for a short period of time. But please remember, don't pressure people to conform to what you expect them to be. Don't pressure them to conform to anything. Just let them be who they are and respect boundaries. And if you can't find anything to like within who they are, then just cut it loose and don't worry about it. But there's no need to bully people, especially now that we're all grown people. We're all adults. None of my videos are made for children, although I think this is good advice for kids too. Just let people be who they are. Love them where they're at, and just go be happy. And if you're finding that this is an issue for you, that you really like people to conform and you're really pressuring them to conform, know that does the actual opposite of conform, making them conform. So just consider what you're doing and who you are as a person and how you would feel if it was you. So I hope you got something out of the video today, and remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things, comment, thumbs up, and go on Facebook to Patio Pet, and I do arts and all kinds of little creative adventures over there. It's on Patio Pet for Facebook, follow, and then Holly's Joys on YouTube. And tell me your story, and maybe I can make it a video for you too. We'll see you later. Have a great one. Bye.